Welcome to the Exchange Video Library. We're here today with Marcus Harvey, the Digital Transformation Manager with Infoxchange, and Infoxchange serves the IT needs of the social sector. Welcome, Marcus.
Thanks, Julia. Fabulous to be here.
Wonderful to have your knowledge here again with us today. Now we're jumping into the issue of cybersecurity, a tricky issue for many organisations. Can you share with us how can organisations protect themselves from cybersecurity threats?
Absolutely. And look, for us, the good news is it's not that hard to get some basics in place. Those cybersecurity risks are growing, and we're going to call almost every week. More and more organisations are reporting that they're falling victim to a dodgy email. They click on a link, they put in their username and password, and all of a sudden someone's got access to their mail. There's spam going out to all their contacts. Their bank account has unusual transactions in them. And it's really important to take some basic protections to make sure you don't fall victim to those challenges. Particularly because as non-profits, many of us hold really sensitive information about health conditions, about history, about people's details, and keeping that safe is just as important as helping everyone that needs our help. As staff transition to work from home, this introduces new challenges in keeping our information safe, but it's fairly easy to get those fundamental protections in place. If we look at the graphic on our cybersecurity roadmap, you can see the way that you can move from challenge through basic, intermediate, and then through advanced. If you're not sure where you sit, take our cybersecurity quiz on the Digital Transformation Hub. That'll give you a rating in terms of where you are on that roadmap, and also give you some tailored advice and digital guides to help you with your next steps. Of course, we've got a team of consultants that are also happy to talk you through your challenges, any concerns you have, a risk you might have just faced, and help you get out of that to make sure you've got the right protections in place. From our perspective, down at the fundamental level, there's a few basic protections that we recommend everyone have that doesn't cost a heap of money. Just a little bit of effort in most cases. And those basic protections are turning on multi-factor authentication for your Microsoft 365 email or your Gmail accounts. That multi-factor authentication is absolutely critical to keeping people out of your accounts and protecting staff if they do unfortunately click on that dodgy link in that phishing email. Getting patching under control so your PCs and your phones and your tablets, etc., are protected from the latest cybersecurity threat is the next thing. By default, phones and tablets generally have that turned on. These days, most PCs also have it turned on. But the older your PCs are, or the more staff fiddle with the different settings on their PC, the higher the chance that you don't have that basic setting under control. And there's been a whole heap of new risks announced that Microsoft, Google, etc. have patched, or Apple on the Macs, if that's what you used, and you haven't got those protections looking after your information. User education is the next one. It's really important to help staff understand how to spot a phishing email, what to do when they get one, and how to see whether or not a link is dodgy or whether or not it's safe to click on. That's not hard to teach. We run monthly free training for non-profit staff all around Australia that you can ask your staff to attend, and we'll teach them those fundamentals. What we found was for about 6 months, we used to say to people, you need to train your staff, it's really important. We went back and checked, almost no one had done it. So we just decided we're going to start running free 20-25 minute training courses, have a bit of time for staff to ask questions as well, to teach them the basics, and all of a sudden we're going to get that education and skills out there in the non-profit landscape to keep all our information safe. Because most of our staff are more interested in supporting people than they are learning about cybersecurity, I've got to admit it. So that's why we try and make it engaging, we'll try and make it friendly, not too scary, and it just takes 20 minutes of someone's time to learn those fundamentals. Data backups, spam protection, antivirus, firewalls, they're all the other things that are usually part of your default environment, but those things might not have been turned on. The staff might have turned them off because there was some weird pop-up. Making sure they're enabled is what's really important. It's fascinating, even the larger non-profits and government departments get caught by not disabling accounts of staff that have left their organisation. There was a very public breach recently where that caused deeply sensitive information to be put out in the public domain. Making sure that you know which user accounts are still live versus which aren't, and that they're real people that still work in your organisation, is that last basic protection. And it's not too hard. People don't generally join or generally leave all that often, and just making sure that you've got that under control is critical to keeping that information safe. Once you've got those fundamentals under control, then you can start to work on the next level. Get some policies working, and we've got policy templates on the hub, which you can literally download, delete the lines that don't apply to you, get them approved, and then you've got your policies. Start to talk to the management team about cybersecurity, only because if management cares, staff will care. And that's what's really important, because it's not, technology alone can't fix your cybersecurity risks. You've got to engage staff and make them care and ask questions and be worried as well. Because the more that staff are able to think about, am I sending this sensitive information to my home email address that my kids use and download games and other freeware to? Is that a safe thing to do, or is that risky and I should keep it in a more controlled, encrypted environment? Once you've done those, then you've got other steps you can do. So when we ask staff, does your organisation understand the details of what they need to have in place from their funding contracts around cybersecurity and information security? They'll often say there's some things that they haven't really got under control. And it's really important to make sure that you understand those and you've got appropriate protections in place so that you look after the information you manage and you hold for your clients and your funders. If you're further down the path, assessing yourself against the Australian Cybersecurity Centre's Essential 8 is a great way of identifying things. Just remember to focus on the biggest risks first, because if you try to do everything at once, you'll usually struggle to get to the outcome. There's always more to do. Pick off the things that make the biggest difference. The Digital Transformation Hub has a huge range of cyber resources to help your nonprofit take that next step in cybersecurity and ensure that you don't feel you're on your own. With cyber, we've actually got cybersecurity staff who can help you with individual advice based on where you're at, what your challenges are, and where you need to head. If this has been helpful, please visit this hub to learn more about nonprofit technology. Click on the link to stay in touch, and also be sure to share and like this content.
Thanks very much for sharing your knowledge with us again today, Marcus. And thank you for being here at the Exchange Video Library. We hope you enjoy the resources that are made available to you freely here, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Thanks, Julia.